Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast episode 682. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinsod,
Ahoy!
and Tony
Hey, hey,
Plagurizes.
hey.
Welcome, listeners and viewers. We are live on Twitch Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock. Please join us live for these broadcasts. Leave a comment. We'll talk. We'll chat with you guys on the in the comments. If we get into kind of discussions, we will talk about it on the air too. Trying to stay on point. Sometimes we can't stay on. We can't answer all questions at the same time, but we try. If you do miss these live broadcasts, YouTube, subscribe to that channel. All of our content's over there. You can go back. We did our of the year lists. Game of the year was last week. Movies of the year was the week before that, and we just did our TV shows of last year, our best of. So check out that content. It's all on YouTube, and subscribe so you know when we go live. This is our Gamecast regular episode here. Regular episode. Next week is our most anticipated for this coming year, which is tough for games because we don't know what's happening. Like, I was thinking about this list. I'm like, do we really know much about this year?
We know stuff that's coming
okay,
out like
even the
weeks.
stuff we know. Yeah, even the stuff we know for later in the year.
Days,
Do you
actually.
believe it's coming out this year? Like the Indiana Jones.
I believe
if we're
Infinite
gonna
Wealth
do-
is coming out in 3 days.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that quite a bit. That is a first day buy for me, so I'm on that one without a doubt. It's fun. Just getting into what we've been up to. Like I said, Sea of Stars. I haven't finished it yet. It's been for me work. This is a busy 2 weeks for me at work, which backs off shortly. I can't wait. Which is just in time for Infinite Wealth. But I do need to finish Sea of Stars real quick. So I'm in chapter 3 of that. It's weird to call it chapters, not acts, but whatever. Great, like I said, great nostalgia game. Enjoying that quite a bit. It's a good filler game, although it is a RPG, big one, very similar to Infinite Wealth. But I'm excited to play that game. And I'm thinking about another game, which we'll get into in a little bit. We'll talk about it, but we'll get into that everybody's playing, but we'll get into that shortly. So that's it for me. What I've been playing. Tony and Corey, you guys went to a convention over the weekend. So you didn't play too much, right? But did you play stuff there? Like play board games?
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Video
There's
games.
I mean, it's a video game. It's a music and gaming festival, essentially. So
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of gaming there, just not so much like console gaming or PC gaming. But you could,
board
'cause
gaming.
they have a LAN section, and somebody that we were rooming with, just that's basically all he did was just stay in the LAN room the entire time and play Palworld, which I'll show you talk about later.
Yeah, we're getting into Palworld. We'll get into Palworld. There's a lot to dissect with this game. We're going to talk about it today. Trust me. Stay tuned for that shortly. But I want to hear what you guys have been playing. Tony, you played any games? It's been 2 weeks. No,
Well,
yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
So at MagFest, we did play a lot of games. There's a cool section that's entirely dedicated to like indie stuff. And when I say indie, I don't even mean like A-level indie of like, Sea of Stars, or
indie, yeah,
Shovel.
right.
Like, I'm talking like 1 to 5
It
people
sounds-
indie. Like, hey, this is our first game or our second game, right? Like, where it's
Real
like,
indie. Like
right?
E3 original indie.
More indie than Lethal
I-
Company, even
Yes.
with
Yeah,
one
I
person
remember-
too. Yeah.
I remember going to E3 when and retail E3, dead by the way. But I remember going to E3 to the indie section of E3, and it was just like a barren wasteland of yeah. So I got you.
Yeah, so we got to play a lot of indie games. Unfortunately, their names are kind of weird, so I can't remember them off the top of my head. But like, we played. God, what was it? Something about Philadelphia, actually. I think. What was it?
Phillytron.
Phillytron, yeah. Where it was just like a weird shoot 'em up, somehow related to Philly. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. It was weird. We played this one that was a dueling keyboard typing game, right? Where like you had a couple seconds, like they had 2 keyboards set up, and it would randomly like display words in increasing difficulty, whether it was length or certain letters and not being close or whatever, and you had to type it out, in quick succession or something like that without.
Right. I think there's different mini games because you had one that was like Pong essentially, and then there was one where I think the one I was doing was, man, I can't even remember what it was now, but it was like shooting things. You were shooting words as they're falling down.
Yeah,
So
kind of like
almost
typing
like
of
House
the
of the
Dead.
Dead
Yeah,
type of-
typing of the Dead. Yeah,
Typing
exactly.
it,
yeah.
typing it, okay.
So yeah, that there was some weird Connect based indie title where you play like as a black woman trying to like swat away uh, white
People
people
try to
trying to
touch your
touch her
hair.
hair and stuff like that. Really weird.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
played this one game. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. Pun there because literally this girl created this giant hat prop where two people wear like a
Literally,
giant hat,
literally giant.
a giant hat, and two people have to get under it. And the story, like, it's super simplistic. Like, it's like you play as aliens trying to take over the world. So how do you take over the world? Well, you need money, and how do you get money? By going to a
Capitalism.
job, right? Capitalism. So like you kind of like Ratatouille, almost like you play as like these aliens that's just in a human body, and it's like, oh well, you have to do human things like get a cup of coffee, get your briefcase, and like the people have to use the hat and sway their heads in different directions to use kind of like motion controls almost to like do it. It's really weird, really quirky, but it's a lot of
Very
spectacle.
impressive with the lady, because it was like she was it's her PhD thing, right, or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
She
her
was saying,
PhD, yeah.
and so it's this huge, just huge giant hat that's like being hung from this crane type look thing, and it 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 was heavy after a while. It's not really heavy because it's being like hung, but like you're using your arm too because
Yeah, it's like
you have to like
you have to like
move.
tilt
Just
it
moving
and
your head
like
is not working. You have to move. And yeah, Tony and I, we were not in sync because it
no,
was
it's
the both
okay.
of us.
The controls were a little. If I
Jank.
spent more times with the controls, I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
we're good now. But
Mhm.
so yeah, so aside from that, we played Scotto, a lot of Scotto, where it's like competitive ping pong. You got to like get the balls into a cup.
A beer pong almost.
Yeah,
More like.
introduced Corey to Killer Queen, which I talked about last year, which is a 5v5 team based platformer, indie platformer, and that was fun. And then just aside from that, I'm playing Call of Duty. Nick and Happel started playing
Oh,
Warzone,
okay.
so I was like, sure, I'll install that. And what does it say? It's fucking Call of Duty in
Yeah.
2024, stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. But
Oh, I'm sorry, Corey. Did you play anything
it's-
else?
yeah, I mean, there's like they have a whole bunch of stuff. Like they have a huge room. It's like a warehouse size room of arcade games, and there's pinball as well. And so I played a ton of pinball. I love
Nice.
pinball.
Yeah.
It's like all these different
Good
machines.
stuff.
So they have like retro ones that are super old, and then they have new modern ones, which are very unique and more, obviously based on they have the screen is
More
gonna have
interactive.
more
Yeah.
interactive stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so the different skill shots and ramps and the way things play out is more unique. They had a Foo Fighter one, which was actually really cool. Like it's just Foo Fighters, but they're like in this van and they're like fighting aliens and stuff. But it was very interesting as far as the mechanics go. And there's a lot going on like with pinball that like it's not just like don't let the ball fall through like in the way you're scoring points and things. They're all really unique and it's pretty impressive how far it's actually come is the intricacies of how you're scoring and what you're doing with the balls and bringing the theme into pinball. So I was really impressed with all the machines they had there because again, it's just like this warehouse full of arcade cabinets. And then they have this like rhythm piano one I talked about. I think when we were talking about Colossal Con, they had like a bunch of those. Spent a lot of time with that as well, which I really like that game because it makes you feel like you're a pianist and you're just like doing these motions. But it's just a rhythm game that goes a
Okay.
piano and you can actually play the songs if you wanted, and if you're a piano player, or you can just like mash the buttons and hope for the best. So yeah, it's a lot of good stuff there.
Cool. All right, Mike. Have you finished Baldur's Gate 3 yet?
No. Um, I'm in it. I'm near the end, but I level 12 is the cap. What the fuck is
Yes.
that?
That's all you
Yeah.
need. You don't need more than that.
All you need. Well, I'm down to 5 people in my party now.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of flexibility, and I'm gonna need to max some more because yeah.
Just gotta get creative, man. Gotta get creative.
I guess so. I try to talk my way out of most things, but I can't figure out a way to do that in this one. No, the real thing is the non-party NPCs that you enlist to help with you. I can't keep them alive. They
Yeah.
just die all the time. Like, and
It's
I
tough.
feel
That's the tough part. It really is. I noticed that a few. I did save scrub for that, but go on.
I tried that once or twice, but after a while I'm just like this character's dead. I don't give a shit. Although apparently, like there's one character in Act 2 that died helping me that apparently had a lot of important stuff that could have happened going forward.
Who was it?
Jahira.
Oh,
You let Chihiro die? Oh no.
Yeah, she died because she helped me.
I mean, that was the one I
Uh,
saved, without a doubt. I'm
I
very
I
happy
tried
that I did
once. I
that.
tried once, but I was doing that fight by the skin of my teeth, and she just died so early. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. And
Oh
I didn't
man.
realize she was like
No.
I could tell she was like a legacy character when we talked to her. Then only later on I realized she was recruitable after that. It seemed like, and also other characters are like, "What the fuck? Where's Jahira?" I'm like, oops. So
Yeah. Not only is she recruitable, she's prerequisite for recruiting another character too.
Mm,
yeah, I killed
mm.
him. I I had no choice
God.
basically because of that.
Mike's
Because
Mike's
it would have been
playthrough has
it
become
would
my
have been hostile.
playthrough.
Man, you guys are
No,
bad heroes.
I've no,
No,
I've been like
just because
so
you're a
I've
bad guy doesn't make you a bad
no,
guy.
no, I've been trying to be a hero, but I've been failing every now and then. Like I didn't want to do the go illithid, but for that check, I since I
I
did
didn't.
use I it made me the number was really high, and I tried it a few times. I'm like, ah, forget, just go with it. So
I
so
I
that's where I'm at.
my character was awesome with the I didn't do the Aelfid powers, and I also told that I also that was one of my hookups in the game, and I told the guy to go f off after that. But obviously, you
Wow.
need more in the game with the mind flayer. But you know, my
Oh
thing
yeah,
was if
my
you can
party's pretty
sacrifice
light.
one to save the many, that's your ending.
See, Jim, that quote you just said, I'll flip it around. Just because you're a good guy doesn't mean you're a good guy.
That's it. That's better for me. That's
Yes.
better for me.
Yes, that's way better for your
Listen,
playthrough.
I've saved mushroom people. I saved
Like I
you
said,
know
yeah, save the
other
world.
people, but I've lost a few friends along the way. Also, Starion could go fuck himself. He fucked right off after I told him to fuck off about it becoming like what he wanted to be. So fuck him.
What?
I'm a rogue anyway. Fuck Asterion.
No,
Oh,
I'm
I
trying to
liked
think.
him
I
in
didn't
Rogue.
know you could tell him to fuck off or something like.
Well, I no, he fucks off because I say I won't do what he wanted to do. I for his
There
like
was a quest
companion
for
quest.
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
no, I
needed to
did the
do.
quest. I didn't know he left if you don't help
He
him with
would.
it.
Yeah, he would have left.
Well,
Yeah.
it might be because we had like zero affinity going forward because I barely used him before that because I was a rogue. So you might have had a chance to like say something else, but I did not. He's just like, I'm done with you. I'm like, fine, fuck off. I'm not making you like the Dark Lord of everything. Fuck right off, dude.
Yeah, my guy.
Oh,
Um,
oh. I mean, you could talk him out of that though so easily.
no,
Did you do it,
not for
or
me.
is it just beforehand?
What? No, at the very end when like he says his idea, he's gonna do it, and he asks you twice actually, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And he's like,
Oh,
all right. I didn't even get a roll. There was no roll involved. It was just
Hmm.
I said no
like
twice.
after you beat the
So
bad guy and everything you're talking about, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. There was no roll for me. But
That's so
again,
weird.
it's probably because I had like no affinity with him because I didn't do anything with him before that one quest line because I was a rogue. I never took him. Um,
I mean, that's weird because I
so
only used him in part of Act One. Fucked
I
off.
used
Like
him.
he was the only one that would always disapprove of things I did because like he's kind of bad. So like everybody else in my party would be like approves, 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 and then Asterion disapproves. I'm just like, bro, like fuck off, like
yeah.
whatever.
I kept a good balance with all those characters, Shadow Killer included, who's very righteous. I did a good balance with all this.
Shadowheart.
Again, Shadowheart. Sorry, did I say Shadow Killer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Shadowheart. Different game.
That
Shadow
that
Killer.
that's something I did save script with her. For actually I still have another thing to do with her, but
She's a
her
major
first
story
part.
part you need to take care of. Yeah, mostly
I
in Act
can't
Two
find.
for her. Mostly in Act Two.
Yeah, no, I did that, which was annoying. The whole House of Shar or whatever the hell it's called.
Hmm?
But I save scrubbed that because I did not want her to go down the dark path. Um,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
yeah, I'm obviously near the end. My guy is still held hostage. I have to find that person.
yeah,
I did save the Archduke,
I,
sort of.
I did that too. See, I save people.
No, I've tried to save everyone. I just if someone is my ally, they die while like physically fighting. Like I just tried to lead a revolt in the factory, and they all died.
That was shit because like those guys just their AI is horrible.
I
Like
killed I
like
killed
they would
all
just
of those people.
seriously run into like the explosion radius of the waters. I'm like, dude, why would you
Yeah.
purposely run into that zone? Like, why? And I'm just like,
I
well,
did
I
not
can't help
have.
you.
Yeah, I
So
killed
right now,
everybody there.
yeah. So right now I'm assuming in the last room with like that giant fucking thing in the middle. Um,
Mm-hmm.
where I can't. I need to. I left the building to take a long rest and
Yes,
stock up on
that's the secret. Then you go back in. Yeah, there you go.
on a I left the building and it says I need to
That's what
stock
I
up on
did.
like electric shit because
Yep.
I can't just do it.
You don't
It
need
looks
that so much, but I left as well and went back in. And just be careful when you go back in because they're ready for you. Um,
well. Everyone else in the building I think is dead.
okay, maybe I missed some people then. I did kill everybody, including the was it the
The
goblins who were
good
supposed to
guys
help you. Yeah, no, the gnomes.
are dead. Yeah,
Yeah, I
they're all
killed.
dead.
No, they got
I
too
didn't I
curious for me.
didn't mean to kill them. I was fighting with them, but they couldn't keep up.
They got too curious for me. No, so but
So yeah,
I
I'm assuming I'm pretty close to the end. It's been many
yeah,
hours,
you're on your
but
way. You're on your way.
I'm not good
That's
at
like
this
one of the
RPG
last.
stuff, but
Yeah,
I'm engaging with it. So
yeah.
um,
That's like one of the last town things you have to do. So and then you get into the end game. So I thought back to my playthrough. Remember Team America, the movie?
No.
That
yes,
the opening sequence with France where they like save the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's me. Where everything's burning on fire. Saved you guys. You got it. See you later. That was me.
Did you bust
So
into hell?
did I what?
Did you bust into hell?
Yeah.
You did. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
So
Is that like later
that's
on?
later. You're right there. You're right there. So
Okay.
you're
Jesus
right there.
Christ.
Like that's your next mission.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to spend some time with Withers because it's blowing my mind that I can't get anyone any stronger. I have to
You're good.
do some shit.
All right. Let's go on to some news here, guys. Let's see. Hogwarts Legacy, best-selling game of 2023, beat out Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Top spot. First time. Non Call of Duty or Rockstar game was best-selling game of the year since 2008. Rock Band was the last one to win that. Crazy, right?
You're the only one here who played that game of us,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I never finished it, but give them credit. They built a fantastic world. They really did.
I'll have to give him credit.
It's true. You could go controversial on the thing too, and I totally get it. However, the game itself was well made. I give those people that worked on it credit, and the content again could have been anything. Could have been similar to Hogwarts, where they just ripped models off and, you know, called it Palworlds.
Barry
Anyway, we're gonna get into
Hotter.
that.
Barry Hotter.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a little bit here, Palworld, but coming up soon here. But yeah, Hogwarts number one. We got season content, post-launch content for Suicide Squad leaked, which
It's not
partly
even
can.
leaked. They have videos out on
Yeah, not
purpose
leaked. I'm
now.
sorry. Now they do. The Joker playable character, three other new playable
They
characters.
will not let Joker go.
Well,
Rocksteady.
the concern I have here now is, and I don't know Tony's leaks that you read, Tony. I don't know them.
I
But
mean,
my
I
concern
have
now is
a
that was in
very,
your
very
leaks.
strong idea about what he's referencing with his leaks because I've seen hints of it, and obviously it's kind of the premise of the game. So I'll just say there's two games coming out early this year that are threatening to kill two of my favorite video game characters, and this is one of them. The
Yeah.
other one is actually Infinite Wealth, with Kiryu's situation, and I'll
Hmm.
be unhappy if both go through with
I
them.
don't think they kill him in that way, but I do think that I don't know. We'll see how the Suicide Squad does. But
But again, this whole thing coming out with this elseworlds nonsense, it's almost like what even fucking matters now? They're just gonna replace everyone with other thing or say, oh, this was actually, the adjacent universe, not the one you know. Just kidding. Or like some
Well, Batman
bullshit.
in the
So
comics is doing a Batverse thing, which is basically Spider Verse,
yeah,
except with
I'm so
Batman.
over all these multiverses now because it's just it leads to all this. Like it's kind of fun when you're in like a big multimedia thing where you can pull stuff from other like things that weren't in your fiction for a while. Like Like the Deadpool stuff, like it'll be funny, it'll be fun, but I
Yeah.
think. But when you just use it as an excuse to be like, oh, we could just get another one, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
like,
So. Okay.
it was fine with Injustice maybe the first time, but I'm kind of over it now.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll see about that. But Suicide Squad has a lot of post game content waiting, I guess,
I mean, this
which
is
is
launching in
interesting.
2 weeks, right?
It's
It's
two
supposed to.
two
It's
weeks. Yeah,
supposed to
it's
be a
gonna
live
launch. It'll
service
launch.
game. It needs all this bullshit. So
You guys still picking it up day one?
Um, but
no,
no, I'm not. I'm not picking up day one. Sorry, just waving till
I
you guys
I
get
don't even
points.
know if I'm
Dude,
picking up Infinite Wealth day one
he's
because
getting
even
big. He's getting big.
despite its great reviews, I'm hesitant because of what I said about Kiryu, and also I don't know if I'm gonna jump into another really long role playing game when I don't particularly like turn
Well,
based stuff.
the depth of Baldur's Gate is not going to be the depth of Infinite Wealth.
No,
So
I mean
yeah,
honestly,
They're
like
different games.
yeah.
After playing Midnight Suns and now this, like thinking back to what like a Dragon was, I'm like that is a shitty turn-based system. So
Yeah, I mean
we'll
that's what you
see.
go back to. Like South Park
Yeah.
was one of the games I loved, but I'm like you look at the way the combat was designed, you're like it's just really effing basic. Um, so
So
like yeah,
we'll
I got
see
you.
how I
I'm
feel.
interested to get Mike to try more RPGs this year. Like, can we get him to play
God,
Final Fantasy this year?
No.
I don't know about Final
The problem is,
Fantasy.
well, seven.
So
No, I agree.
unappealing to me.
Seven would be great.
I think you would enjoy seven, Mike. I think you would. I think you should give it a shot.
I don't know.
See, we'll see.
I mean,
I
we'll
don't
see
expect
what's
the same.
happening during
Yeah,
that time period.
I don't expect the same amount of content this year as we had last year. So maybe we can get you
No,
to play.
no.
Yeah. So we'll see. All right, Indiana Jones is a game that we should be getting this year. It looks like that was shown from Microsoft's presentation.
Well, a lot of stuff was shown off, wasn't it? They had a
Sure.
developer direct.
It'll developer direct.
So what do we see, Jim? What do we see?
What's that?
What do we
I'm
see?
talking about. Let's talk about Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Indiana
We're
Jones
going backwards.
yeah. Listen. Indiana Jones is a big game. They leaked the title of it earlier, but the circle of what was it called? Circle of wait
Something.
Yeah.
Life? Destiny?
Circle of Destiny. No, it's not. Not to be confused.
I'm looking it up.
Doom.
The Great Circle. The Great Circle.
Oh,
thank you
it's
guys.
a great circle.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Go on.
Well, my thoughts are I'm glad they went with Harrison Ford's likeness. I think it's funny that Troy Baker is the voice. I think it's also weird that before you like see the on-screen action, like just the voiceover, it sounds more like Harrison Ford. And then once you get into the action, you're just like, oh, it's fucking Troy Baker. But I think this could be okay. I'm like very cautiously optimistic. It's an interesting choice to do first person, but that's what this developer does. So,
but yeah, first person is what their strength is, and I also feel like they didn't want it to feel like too much of an Uncharted clone, so they went that way. That's what I'm thinking.
Sure.
But they did say that traversal is still going to be in 3D, third person. Jesus, 3D. So it'll go in and out of third person to first person. I almost said 3D again. Jesus.
No.
It looks interesting.
In this year, if this comes out in fall,
supposed to be this year. Yeah, fall of this
radar.
year. But we'll see. It's interesting. Like you said, it is on my radar as well. I hope it's good. I don't expect great things. This could be my surprise. This could be my game. Who knows? But hopefully it's good. So, I mean, the rest of the developer, was Hellblade 2 was shown with date. They give a release date.
May.
May. Senua. What is it? May 21st. May 21st.
8 to 12 hours or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect a robust game.
$50.
Yeah.
No physical.
No physical was the big thing. That was the big thing they talked about. So
this is the future of Microsoft. Just saying.
But I was thinking about purchasing like the PlayStation and stuff and like games this weekend, and like I'm buying a lot of digital now, anyways. There's obviously the fear of not owning things, but it's where we're going. It's the way it's going, and you don't have to worry about where you're going to put your games, where you're storing your stuff. It opens up space.
So small.
That's not like my
Jim,
movies.
look behind you. Look behind you.
Where am I putting that? I got shelves down
Like
here with games on it. I can put my more
I
toys down
don't
here.
I don't like generally like return most of my shit. I have like my
I
entire
haven't traded in. Yeah.
I have like my entire GameCube library right there and PlayStation. Like that's it. Like
Yeah.
it's not doesn't take up that much space. But
I've got, I haven't traded in a lot of stuff recently either, so I kind of slowed that down. And actually, most of my library down there looks like Switch games. But, um, so I also love the convenience of the digital aspect of things where you can just pick a game and play it. Like I do like that
yeah,
aspect of
I
it.
mean, I
There's
understand that,
convenience
but
to it.
the cost in the long term is
But
pretty bad. I think for not getting up. But
Hellblade, just back to the game itself.
yeah,
I never played the first game. They're really banking on this one. It does look great, but I don't know if it's for me. That's the thing.
I'm
So
interested.
Visually, it looks fine. I mean, it's amazing even, but I don't know. That the story doesn't interest me at all.
yeah. What else was shown? It was what else was shown?
Avowed, which looks
Avowed.
like
Thank you.
shit.
Avowed. Avowed. Yep.
It was not a good showing, I don't think, for Avowed
Yeah.
in that. But
And that's
maybe I'm
the
wrong.
release window.
Did someone
Fall.
else did someone else get like good feelings from what they showed of Avowed?
No.
No. Developers of Fallout New Vegas though, so that's and the Outer Worlds. So it's got a good team behind it. It may just be too. I don't think it's coming fall. It says fall 2024, but I just don't see it happening this year.
I
So-
don't know. Like Outer Worlds was fine, but just small and not as ambitious as you would expect or hope from them. And that's kind of what I feel like this is going to be.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if it's gonna be small. I think it's a pretty large game that they developed here. I just
I
that's why
would not expect it to be big after having played Outer Worlds.
I think
Like,
it'll
I
be
think-
bigger than
I
that.
think
I'll
that's-
bet. I'll bet.
I think-
I'll bet.
I think
I'll
that-
bet on that.
How are we going to quantify that?
Hours.
Length of play, you mean? Not like interesting
even
like
say-
places to go in the world?
I'll
The
say
size
actually
of it?
main story even would be more.
How long to beat?
Sure.
Use that as a reference. There you go.
Yeah. How
Fine,
long to beat?
fine, sure. I expect it to be similar to Outer Worlds.
No, I think it'll be much longer than that.
Mm.
So. Anyways, that's supposed to be fall. I don't think it's gonna happen. The other game, Square. Square. Visions of Mana was the other one, coming summer. So Visions of Mana is a game I'm interested in myself. As we're talking about Sea of Stars, I played stuff like that, old school kind of games. I'm interested to see what they come out with another Mana game, which were
That's not
amazing
Microsoft.
stuff. What's that?
That's not Microsoft, right?
No, that's Square. That's Square. I said Square.
No, I'm just making sure because somebody here has a bet, right? Or a prediction about how many AAA?
Was it 5?
Did you say 5?
That's not Microsoft. But would you you'd count Indiana Jones? Would you not?
Sure.
And
Sure.
if Avowed makes it out,
Yeah, sure.
AAA? Outer Worlds isn't AAA.
it's Obsidian though. This is like,
Was Outer Worlds
See?
AAA?
what would you count
This
Fallout New
is,
Vegas?
this is big. Well,
He's-
he's saying this is bigger. So I
I'm
think
saying-
so.
are
I'm saying-
those expectations I'm telling you to put in check, Jim, about how
I'm
big
saying
this game
bigger.
is.
I'm
I
Fallout New
don't think
Vegas. Fallout New Vegas
the
was a
current-
big game, was it not?
Yeah, they used another game.
Yeah, that was an IP.
Like exactly the same. But today's like Obsidian is I don't know. I mean, you have to sort of
I mean, you
know,
count
quantify what you mean by triple
you
or double
count-
A, but it's
Do
gonna
you
be
count
smaller.
Hellblade? Do you count Hellblade?
No, that's $50,
Probably
dude.
not.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, no,
Not,
yeah.
not if it's
It's not even getting a
full
physical
price game.
release.
I mean, I'm getting a Forza game. I know that. So
Are you? You
That's-
sure?
yeah, I'm getting a Forza game.
You sure? Because
Mhm.
I heard the recent one is not doing too well. So they might
We're
want to
getting
fix it this year.
We're gonna get Horizons. We had the proper Forza last year, didn't we? So we're getting
Oh,
Horizons
boy.
this year. So Horizons. No question. So I'm still good on my prediction.
You think?
We'll see. Yep, I'm feeling good.
What?
Just like my
We're gonna
Not-
need. We're gonna need
just-
to.
They're
So my
showing
Game
off
Pass-
games for fall now. Like, you're not really
Just-
giving
just
yourself
like
a
my-
lot of wiggle room here, bud.
my Game Pass, Baldur's Gate 3. But
Yeah. Yep. You got a
That-
month and a
that-
half left of that.
yeah, I'm not.
That's
I-
not looking good.
no,
That's also one of the reasons why I'm a little hesitant to get Infinite Wealth because I do expect that on there, but I
Yeah.
probably won't wait long enough for that.
yeah. Anyways,
Especially
so
this is getting 90s. That's
Mm.
high for RPG.
The highest
really
it's
great
ever,
reviews.
highest ever
Yeah.
for the series.
yeah.
And yeah, Tekken's getting great. reviews.
Yeah, Tekken's looking good too. That really is. That looked really good from the trailer.
I played the demo of it. I didn't mention it, but yeah.
Yeah?
That looks so good for a fucking fighting game.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always said I'm interested in the story, and then I'm like, but
the story is so fucking whack. I didn't even realize it until somebody made a thread. But like, the son of Kazuya is like
just throw each other in volcanoes all the time.
What?
That's the story. Isn't the story just the father and son constantly throwing each other in volcanoes?
It's the father, the grandfather now. I mean, well, the grandfather.
Heihachi's the grandfather, but like, well, apparently
they come back.
Apparently, they turned the son or the grandson, the youngest one, into a full-out villain. Like he started World War III. Apparently, that's the whole story. Like the game, the demo at least, I imagine, is the start of the story. Like fucking like just does like this like triple X Vin Diesel move where he like launches a motorcycle that has Dead's helicopter, crashes it in the middle of Tokyo, I guess, and they just have this fight and their powers like activate, right? And they're just basically destroying the city. It's like, bro, like, how many people? Yeah. It's like the whole Man of Steel thing, and it's like, how many innocent people are getting hurt right now because you decided to have your your beef match in the middle of the city? So it's whack, but you know, we'll see. Yeah. Good for Tekken. Good for Tekken.
All right. And let's move on to the news of the week, which is Palworld. Not to be confused with NTSC World.
No.
Just kidding. Not to be confused with Pokemon, as you can say. So there's multiple aspects of this game to talk about right now. First one being the sales. Let's talk about 6 million sold in 4 days, I think it is now. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Off the charts for an early access game. And people are loving
why this is happening.
It's the Pokemon clone. Like it's Pokemon fever.
Is there like popular streamer doing this?
All the streamers are doing it.
It's in the media like crazy.
This should have been my prediction instead of Once Human. I was like, I knew there was a game that was gonna blow up, and I was like, oh, this is the one, I guess.
Yeah. So this hit, and it's being talked about everywhere. So everybody's like, I gotta check it out. And that's what's happening. And I think Microsoft getting on Game Pass was another big thing. Even though I've heard
ridiculous. Also, like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, like, hearing Nick's stories. Yeah, Nick's stories.
The description of some of the creatures, it's like. At one point, they found sticks, but then they met humans, and now they have guns. It's like, okay.
Yeah, so this is
also, it's weird. Like the game, like it's like slave simulator. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like what it is.
It is essentially like if when you have like the Pokemon that like, you meet side characters in Pokemon, they have Pokemon doing random things. And then they're just that's what you're doing now. You're making them do these random things, and you're forcing them into the labor.
They could also be people too, though.
Yeah. I watched a video of one of the pals like climb themselves into a rocket launcher. You know, so like they're like the ammo for it. So like it's a multiplayer world, right? I mean, it's like would you say MMO? I wouldn't say that, but it's like
Ark.
It's like Ark, yeah, that's the best way to say it. So, for those wondering what this game is, I think it's $29.99 on Steam right now. I think it's 10% off. Yeah. It's on Game Pass, which is very, very. Yeah, it's not very robust on Microsoft on the Game Pass side. So like the Steam version is supposed to be much more involved. You know, so it's very popular, and it's Pokemon, basically Pokemon. It's the same idea. Pokemon. Yeah, and now we're going to move into that part of it. Now, I will say that I posted first of all, I stand by the fact that this is Nintendo's property. Let them defend their property. People that are giving death threats to this company doesn't need to happen. However, that being said, I probably 180 on my stance of copying Pokemon because I've seen a lot more of the stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that one looks like it. There are some that I'm like, that's a stretch. Like, that's a stretch. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, this looks just like it because it has the same teeth. No, I'm sorry, that's a stretch. But like the framework things that you shared, Tony, clearly inspiration is heavy either way, or they flat out just ripped it off.
Right, and that's the thing is like there have been tons of Pokemon clones, right? You had Digimon right from the get go. You know, there's been Monster Rancher. You know, there's been literally dozens of different things. But you know, the whole thing is like. It's one thing to be like, hey, I'm going to draw like a cow character or whatever. and my drawing is gonna be somewhat close, right? But it's still my cow like creature or whatever like that. What this company is doing, which is unheard of because they're like a small team, right? They're super indie. I think like 100 developers tops, and that's a lot of it's like.
That's on multiple games though.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, first, so the thing is, they have 3 games in early access. What other fucking developer has 3 games in early access, like simultaneously? I can't think of another studio that does. Anyway, so the thing is, somebody's taking the mesh files, like the mesh wiring of the creatures in Pal whatever, and comparing it to the closest thing from like the Pokemon games, and they're overlaying it, and it's like, okay, so yeah, they like move some things around so it's not like 1-to-1 copying, but when you count like the vertices and everything like that, it's practically impossible for people to recreate this without copying. Like, there's been a lot of 3D artists that have come out in, I think I linked to one of the articles that just said like, I would testify against this in court, that like literally even happening for one creature would be almost impossible. But to have over 100 where it's like, dude, these are the same. Like, what are you fucking doing? It's just like, it's like, hey, we use the base and then we're just like moving things slightly. Like, we move the hair over like a couple pixels. It's like, you can't say that's not stealing. Like, it's not plagiarism, and you're not stealing by using assets that the Pokemon company has already created. Because the thing is, it's not easy to do that. Like, the big controversy from a couple years ago was that when Pokemon companies like, hey guys, we're not going to have all the Pokédex Pokemon in the game anymore. Like, we just cannot do that, right? It's 1,000. We can't have 1,000 right from the get-go in the game. Remember, people were up in arms about it, and they were sending death threats to Pokemon Company about that, because they're like, well, what about my favorite Pokemon, number, 583? It's like a little, like, fucking snail or some shit, and it's like, you can't have everything at the same time. So, for a small indie team to do this, even 100, which I think there's 111 or something like that, it raises red flags.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I like you said, there's over 1,000 Pokemon out there, and so like, and the game is so big, and this game is clearly, no matter how you break it down, it's inspired by Pokemon, without a doubt. So you're gonna get like similarities. There's no question, but it's the like you said, it's the evidence you have that I'm shocked that we still have no word from Nintendo at this moment yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, so the way it works is, because it involves Pokemon, Nintendo themselves won't get involved. It will be the Pokemon Company. Like, the Pokemon Company exists, so Nintendo doesn't have to manage that brand, because that's its own job, right? That's its own entity. Pokemon is its own thing. Nintendo's like, nah, we just want Pikachu and Smash Brothers or something like that. That's it. Like, that's the how they want to be involved in Pokemon. But for them, they just need to get their ducks in a row, because the thing is, this indie company is also from Japan. Right? So it's not going to be like, oh, we're an American company, Japanese law, whatever. It's straight up, hey, they're Japanese and we're Japanese, so ... So I'm sure within a month or so we'll have something. It just seems really flagrant of them to have... Like, some of these, it's straight up like, you look at it and like, oh, that's that Pokemon, right? Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, you'd be like, that's Electabuzz, dude, what are you doing?
I really wonder if they're banking on the fact that it is going to take them a while to get this together, and then
absolutely,
and I think they're already creating alternate versions of these.
Absolutely.
And then they're going to just change it real quick, like it's going to be court ordered. You know, they're going to have to change it.
So the big thing here, right? And not a lot of people are talking about this because it's not the huge issue, right? Like, that's the attention grabber, right? Like, oh, Pokemon ripoff or whatever like that. But the thing is, the CEO of this company, right? He actually worked for Nintendo a couple of years ago, like, very briefly.
Okay.
He's given interviews. He's like, yeah, my philosophies doesn't match with Nintendo and stuff like that. And then you see when he's doing these interviews, right? He's into all the huge red flag things of game industry and tech. It's like, he's a crypto bro. He's into AI. He doesn't believe in he's even bragging about oh, it's so easy to make my own basically Pokemon years ago before this project was announced. So it's just okay, so if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's probably a duck, right? So it's just if this guy's a piece of shit, right, Psyduck. This guy's a piece of shit. He talks like a piece of shit and acts like a piece of shit. He's probably a piece of shit. So, you know.
No, I think just looking though at the game itself they created, it's an interesting idea, and I
No,
think
absolutely.
it's a good base of a game. They
I
got
do
something. They got something with it, without a doubt. So
I do wonder if the rush to play it is people expecting it to not exist in a little bit.
it's not. But the thing is, it's not going to not exist. It's just going to have to get changed. Like that's I know what they're playing. Like you just said, like Tony, I was just talking about. All they have to do is tweak things to make it not using the same framework. So they probably got that ready, like, or they're readying it now. So by the time that gets to court, it's like, okay, we have to make these changes. They make the changes, and don't have to pay. Well, they'll have to pay the fees and stuff, but that's about it. But overall, with what they're making on this game now, that's going to be nothing for them to do.
Right.
Like, I get it.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a quick cash grab, in my opinion, right? Because the previous game that they did is literally a ripoff of Breath of the Wild. Like, you look at this, I forget if I shared it in the Discord.
Yeah, you did. You shared.
Like, you watch that, and I'm like, what game is this, guys? It's like, oh, that's fucking Breath of the Wild. and the weird thing about that, too, is there's goblins in that enemy, or that game, right? And apparently, at launch, they looked kind of unique, and then later on, they patched it in to look even more like the bokoblins in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Wow.
why would you patch it in to make it look more like a ripoff, unless that was your intention to see? Be like, hey, I can't officially play Breath of the Wild on my PC, but I can play this game, which is like, 75%
Of course. I mean, that's the thing, is they're trying to fill a void of people.
Right.
That's like,
Absolutely.
There's a market for that. It's like,
Absolutely.
you can't do this, so we're going to make a ripoff. And there's so many of these games. Like, there are
absolutely.
tons of these ripoffs.
And I mean, there's the huge thing that I have, right? Because this is going to be a precedent either way on the outcome of this. And the way you have to look at it is not from like a purely Pokemon thing. Because whatever, Pokemon's the biggest brand in the world. Persisted for over 30 years now, makes billions of dollars. 6 million copies is fucking drop in the bucket. They sell that in the first 3 hours of a Pokemon release. They don't give a shit about that. The dangerous part is what this sets as a precedent for the game industry, right? Because now, if people are allowed to just take wire mesh models from other assets, from other games, tweak them slightly.
And drag and drop.
Right, drag and drop, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, that's bad for everybody, because now all of a sudden you're going to have all these indie developers that are going to start doing that, right? And it's going to just be really, really bad. But also on the flip side, people should not want this to happen, because what do you think EA is going to do? What do you think Microsoft is going to do? What do you think Epic is going to do if this can just be allowed? And they're like, okay, well, fuck it. You want Mario? We'll give you Nario. He looks like 95% the same as the character model, but we'll change it slightly. And there's Nario. Or like Master Chef, right? Like whatever. They will have so much power to just rip whatever models they can, dump it quickly into Fortnite or fucking Apex Legends, Genshin Impact, whatever the fuck they want, and just make a quick buck. And by the time anybody is able to do something about it, they've already made their money. They've already made their money.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at here. So I think it's an IP protection, and I think that, like I said, the concept of this game aside, like it's the property of what they inspire. Like it's the wireframe stuff that it's just, you can't ignore it.
Right.
So I mean, ultimately this game is very popular right now, and it's doing really well, and I guess congrats to that part of it. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like it's a tough line. Like you want to see something that improves that world. Like you want to see something that pushes Pokemon to be better, I guess is the best way to say it. But you don't want that to be because
you always want competition, right? Competition.
I'm good with the
breeds
game
creativity. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, there have been dozens and dozens and dozens of Pokemon clones over the years. That's not the issue. The issue is using potentially stolen assets, which is like I'm willing to bet and bank on at this point, right? Seeing all the proof that's out there where people like literally overlay one of the models with another, and it's like 99% the same. And I'm sorry, just because it's not 100% doesn't mean it's not plagiarized, it's not stolen, right?
Absolutely.
Like in any court of law, like you will lose that if you're like, oh well, education. If you're like, well, I just changed 2 words around, I didn't plagiarize off this other essay, right? It's like, yeah, you fucking did, dude. Like that's
Ice and Queen /
yeah, exactly. So
dun 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 dun.
The thing is,
lines like dun dun dun
yeah,
dun dun.
Yeah, exactly, right? We've seen that so many times, and it's hard because people. people don't realize the amount of work that goes into Pokemon games, right? And I'll cite the Brexit thing all over again, right? You have 1,000 fucking Pokemon at this point, right? And it's literally impossible to hire that many people. Like, at some point, you have diminishing returns on the amount of people you're throwing at a game, where it's like, it doesn't change the end result, right? Because you just have too many hands in the pot, right? So, to do 1,000 Pokemon is already insurmountable for people that have been doing it for over 30 years. So for this indie team to be able to pump out 111 is still, should be something that should be celebrated, right? But there's a reason why they're fucking ripping off, because it's hard work to do this shit. And it's a shame that they couldn't find any other way to do it. Because if this was 100% original, and even if it's like, oh, that looks like Pikachu, but it's like, you know, unique art, unique model, everything like that, but like, hey, good for you.
I get the, like, before I saw the Wire stuff, I was looking at just the artwork, and I'm like, okay, that looks a lot different than what I'm seeing on the other side. But then you look at how they did it, and that's the questionable aspect of things. Mm-hmm. If you come to the, like I said, you're going to be inspired by other work.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, no 100%. Matter what, because it exists, and you've seen it. You're going to be inspired from it, so you're going to put it in there somehow. But if it's original design still, and it's your drawing that's similar to Pikachu, it is what it is. Like, I think the best way to say it is there was already a mod that was already attacked by Nintendo.
Already.
Cease and desist already by Nintendo. They came for him, but they modded it already, and that's done. But I don't know. We'll follow. We'll keep following.
It will be in the news for the next couple of weeks. I guarantee it.
So we'll talk about this more. But that's it, guys. We'll see. I don't know if I'll pick it up to play it. I might play it on Game Pass and just see it. Just to try it and see what it looks like, because it's there.
Dude, why would you give them your money at this point?
It's not my money. It's on Game Pass.
Oh, no. If you Game Pass it, that's fine. That's Microsoft money.
I'm not.
But you said buy it, and I was like, dude.
No. I was going to play it on Game Pass.
Okay.
I said that.
Well, you said buy, and I was like.
No.
Even Nick, I was high-eyeing a little bit. I was like, really, dude? Like, you don't even buy regular Pokemon games. Like, you're gonna buy this?
Nick used to love to play Pokemon.
He used to, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I bought it when we were at Gamecast.
Oh, no.
I did. I started installing it on my Steam Deck because I wanted to see it, but it didn't finish because I didn't have the Wi-Fi.
Well, that's the thing. The Steam Deck is made for this thing. Like, I would love to get it on there, and that's why it was tempting. But I'll wait. I'll wait and see. So, all right, that's gonna wrap up this episode of the Gamecast, folks. Thanks for tuning in once again. Live on Twitch Tuesday nights, 8:00. YouTube for all the content. Subscribe to both channels to let you know when we go live. Most anticipated is next week. I got it right. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you guys next week. That's it for now. We're out.
You gaslit yourself, Jim.
Yeah.